The Cheras were an ancient Dravidian royal dynasty of Tamil origin who ruled in regions of Tamil Nadu and Kerala in India. Together with the Chola and the Pandyas, it formed the three principal warring Iron Age kingdoms of southern India in the early centuries of the Common Era over a wide area comprising Venad, Kuttanad, Kudanad, Pazhinad, and more. In other words, they governed the area between Kanya Kumari in the south to Kasargod in the north. This included Palghat, Coimbatore, Salem and Kollimalai. Their capital was Vanchi, which the Romans who actively traded with the Cheras knew as Muzris. By the early centuries of the Common Era, civil society and statehood under the Cheras were developed in present-day western Tamil Nadu. The location of the Chera capital is generally assumed to be at modern Chera. The Chera kingdom later extended to the plains of Kerala, the Palghat Gap, along the river Perar and occupied land between the river Perar and river Periyar, creating two harbour towns, Tondi and Muciri, where the Roman trade settlements flourished. The Cheras were in continuous conflict with the neighbouring Cholas and Pandyas. The Cheras are said to have defeated the combined armies of the Pandyas and the Cholas and their ally states. They also made battles with the Kadambas of Vanchi and the Yavanas on the Indian coast. After the 2nd century CE, the Cheras' power decayed rapidly with the decline of the lucrative trade with the Romans. The Tamil poetic collection called Sangam literature describes a long line of Chera rulers dated to the first few centuries CE. It records the names of the kings, the princes, and the court poets who extolled them. The internal chronology of this literature is still far from settled, and at present a connected account of the history of the period cannot be derived. Athian Chera Lawthan, Ndam Chera Lawthan and Singuttuvan Chera were some of the rulers referred to in the Sangam poems. Singuttuvan Chera, the most celebrated Chera king, is famous for the legends surrounding Kannagi, the heroine of the Tamil epic Silapathikaram. The Chera kingdom owed its importance to trade with West Asia, Greece and Rome. Its geographical advantages, like the abundance of exotic spices, the navigability of the rivers connecting the At Mountains with the Arabian Sea, and the discovery of favorable monsoon winds which carried sailing ships directly from the Arabian coast to Chera kingdom, combined to produce a veritable boom in the Chera foreign trade. The later Cheras ruled from the 9th century. Little is known about the Cheras between the two dynasties. The second dynasty, Kulasakaras, ruled from a city on the banks of river Periyar called Mahadayapuram. Though never regained the old status in the peninsula, Kulasakaras fought numerous wars with their powerful neighbours and diminished to history in the 12th century as a result of continuous Chola and Rashtrakuta invasions. The Chera dynasty was supported by Tamil warriors such as Villavar, Vanava and Malaya clans. The Chera rulers of Venad, based at the Port Quilon in southern Kerala, trace their relations back to the later second Cheras. Ravi Varma Kulasakara, ruler of Venad from 1299 to 1314, is known for his ambitious military campaigns to former Pandya and Chola territories. Etymology of the word Chera: the word Chera probably derived from Cheral, meaning declivity of a mountain in ancient Tamil. The Cheras are referred as Glapavu in the Ashoka's edicts. The Greco-Roman trade map Periplus Marisiri Throi refers the Cheras as Silobotra. The term Siralamdovu or Sarantivu and its cognates, meaning the island of the Saran kings, is a classical Tamil name of Sri Lanka that takes root from the term Chera, from which the dynasty name is derived. Early Cheras Indian literary sources The primary literary sources available regarding the early Chera kings are the anthologies of Sangam literature, created between c. 1st and the 4th centuries CE. Pitharupathtu, the fourth book in the Atuthokai anthology of Sangam poems, mentions a number of rulers of the Chera dynasty. Each ruler is praised in 10 songs sung by the court poet. The rulers are mentioned in the following order: Ndam Chera Lawthan Kumaturkanana, Palian Chelketsu Kutuvan Parlayak Kantamana, Namudi Chera Kapiana, Sangutuvan Chera Parana, Adkotupatya Chera Lawthan Kakapatanaya Nasalaya, Selva Kadamko Valayathana Kapila, Peram Chera Rumpo Raya Arisal Killer, Ilum Cheralai Rumporai Euro Perunkinrukilla. Sangam literature is rich in descriptions about a number of Chera kings and princes, along with the poets who extolled them. However, these are not worked into connected history and settled chronology so far. A chronological device, known as Gajabahu synchronism, is used by historians to help date early Tamil history. Despite its dependency on numerous conjectures, Gajabahu synchronism has wide acceptance among modern scholars and is considered as the sheet anchor for the purpose of dating ancient Tamil literature. The method depends on an event depicted in Silappatikaram, which describes the visit of Karabaku, the king of Ilankai, in the Chera kingdom during the reign of the Chera king, Senguttuvan. The Gajabahu method considers this Karabaku as Gajabahu, who according Mahavamsa, a historical poem written in Pali language on the kings of Sri Lanka, lived in the latter half of the 2nd century CE. This, in turn, has been used to fix the period Senguttuvan, who ruled his kingdom for 55 years, in the 2nd century CE. The Cheras, the Pandyas, and the Cholas are also mentioned as the three ruling dynasties of southern India in the Hindu epic Ramayana. Cheras are also mentioned in Aitariranyaka and Mahabharata, where they take the sides with the Pandavas in the famous war at Kurukshetra. Archaeological sources Archaeology has found epigraphic evidence of the early Cheras. Two identical inscriptions near Tiruchirappalli, dated to the 2nd century CE, describe 3 generations of Chera rulers of the Irumporai clan. They record the construction of a rock shelter for James on the occasion of the investiture of the Crown Prince Ilum Kadungo, son of Peram Kadungo, and the grandson of Athan Cheralai Rumporai. Rulers according to the Sangam poems, Athi and Chera Lawthan. The first of the known rulers of the Chera entity was Panavramban Paramchachu Athi and Chera Lawthan. His capital was at Kusama. Athi and Chera Lawthan was a contemporary of the Chola ruler Karakala Chola. Mumulana credits him with having conducted a feast in honor of his ancestors. In a battle at Veni, Athi and Chera Lawthan was wounded on the back by Karakala Chola. Unable to bear the disgrace, the Chera committed suicide by starvation. Chera Lawthan probably consolidated the Chera kingdom, and literature and art developed highly during his period. Chera Lawthan is praised in the second 10 of Pitharupathtu composed by his court poet Kannena. Chera Lawthan, famous for his hospitality, even gave a part of Umbakattu to Kannena. The greatest enemies of Chera Lawthan were Kadambas of Banavasi. He also won another victory over the Yavanas on the coast. The chief of the Yavanas was captured and paraded in public with hands pinioned to his back and head poured over with ghee. Mumulana refers to a seacoast township called Mantai and the exhibition ornaments and diamonds captured by Chera Lawthan there. Chera Lawthan was killed in a battle with the Chola ruler. The Chola ruler was also killed in the battle by a spear thrown at him by Chera Lawthan. Chera Lawthan is claimed to have conquered Bharatavarsha up to the Himalayas and to have inscribed his royal emblem on the face of the mountains. Palyani Selkalukuttuvan, Putsayakon Palyani Selkalukuttuvan was the brother of Chera Lawthan. He helped his brother in the conquests of northern Malabar. At least a part of northern Malabar came under the Chera rule in this period, as is proven by the title Putsayakon. In the later years of his life, Palyani retired from military life and spent time in arts, letters, gifts and helping Brahmins. Namudi Cheral, Kalanjayak Kani Namudi Cheral is praised in the fourth set, written by Kapayana. He, famous for his generosity over the defeated, won a series of victories of the enemies. In the Battle of Vakai Peramchurai Namudi Cheral defeated and killed Nanan of Ezimalai, annexing Pazhinad. Selva Kadumko Velayathan was the son of Anthivan Cheral and a hero of the 7th set of poems composed by Kapila. His residence was at the city of Tondi. He married the sister of the wife of Chera Lawthan. Selva Kadumko defeated the combined armies of the Pandyas and the Cholas. He is sometimes identified as the Athan Cheralai Rumporai mentioned in the Aranattamalai inscription of Puggala. Velkalukuttuvan, son of Chera Lawthan, ascended to the Chera throne after the death of his father. Velkalukutuvan is often identified with the legendary Kadal Pirakotia Singatuvan Chera, the most illustrious ruler of the early Cheras of the Sangam age. Under his reign, the Chera kingdom extended from Kollimalai in the east to Tondi and Muciri on the western coast. The queen of Singatuvan was Ilango Venmal. In the early years of his rule, Singatuvan successfully intervened in a civil war in the Chola kingdom. The war was among the Chola princes and the Cheras stood on the side of their relative Kili. The rivals of Prince Kili were defeated in a battle at Neriaval, Uraya, and he firmly established the Chola throne. The land and naval expedition against the Kadambas was also successful. The Kadambas had the support of the Yavanas, who were routed in the Battle of Idumal and Valia. The Fort Kaduka in which the Kadamba army took shelter was stormed and the Kadambas was beaten. In the following naval expedition the Yavana-supported Kadamba army was crushed. He is said to have defeated the Kongu people and a warrior called Mogam Manan. Ilango Adigal wrote the legendary Tamil epic Silapatika Ram, which describes his brother Singatuvan Chera's decision to propitiate a temple for the goddess Patini at Vanchi. Singatuvan Chera was perhaps a contemporary King Ajabahu of Sri Lanka. King Ajabahu, according to the Sangam poems, visited the Chera country during the Patini festival at Vanchi. He is mentioned in the context of King Ajabahu unregistered trademark S rule in Sri Lanka, which can be dated to either the first or last quarter of the 2nd century CE, depending on whether he was the earlier or the later Ajabahu. Adkotupatya Chera Lawthan Adkotupatya Chera Lawthan was a crown prince for a long 38 years. Trade and commerce flourished in the Chera kingdom during his rule. He is said to have given some villages to Brahmins and Kuttanad. Peram Cheralai Rumpurai Tegadare and Peram Cheralai Rumpurai defeated the combined armies of the Pandyas, Cholas and that of the chief of Tegada. He destroyed the famous city of Tegada which was ruled by the powerful ruler Adigaman Esni. He is also called the Lord of Pazhinad and Kollimalai, and the Lord of Periyar. Periyar was the Chola capital. Peram Cheralai Rumpurai also annexed the territories of a minor chief called Kaluval. Ilam Cheralai Rumpurai defeated the Pandyas and the Cholas and brought immense wealth to his capital at a city called Vanchi. He is said to have distributed these treasures among the Pana poets. Yanaya Kachar Mantaran Cheralai Rumpurai King Yanaya Kachar Mantaran Cheralai Rumpurai preserved the territorial integrity of the Chera kingdom under his rule. However, by the time of Mantaran Cheral the decline of the kingdom had begun. The Chera ruled from Kollimalai in the east to Tondi and Muciri on the western coast. He defeated his enemies in a battle at Vilamkeel. The famous Pandya ruler Muciri captured Mantaran Cheral as a prisoner. However, he managed to escape and regain the lost kingdom. Kanaikalai Rumpurai is said to have defeated a local chief called Muvan. The Chera then brutally pulled out the teeth of his prisoner and planted them on the gates of the city of Tondi. The later Kanaikalai Rumpurai was captured by the Chola ruler Senganan and he later committed suicide by starvation. Government and society during the Sangam era. Administration monarchy was the most important political institution of the Chera kingdom. There was a high degree of pomp and pageantry associated with the person of the king. The king wore a gold crown studded with precious stones. The king was an autocrat, but his powers were limited by a council of ministers and scholars. The king held daily debate to hear the problems of the common men and to redress them on the spot. The royal queen had a very important and privileged status and she took her seat by the side of the king in all religious ceremonies. Another important institution was the manram which functioned in each village of the Chera kingdom. Its meetings were usually held by the village elders under a banyan tree, and helped in the local settlement disputes. The manrams were the venues for the village festivals as well. In the course of the imperial expansion of the Cheras the members of the royal family set up residence at several places of the kingdom. They followed the collateral system of succession according to which the eldest member of the family, wherever he lived, ascended the throne. Junior princes and heir apparents helped the ruling king in the administration. The Cheras had a well-equipped army which consisted of infantry, cavalry, elephants and chariots. There was also an efficient navy. The Chera soldiers made offering to the war goddess Kotive before any military operation. It was traditional when the Chera rulers were victorious in a battle to wear anklets made out of the crowns of the defeated rulers. Foreign trade equals. Chera trade with foreign countries around the Mediterranean Sea can be traced back to before the Common Era. In the 1st century of the Common Era, the Romans conquered Egypt, which helped them to establish dominance in the Arabian Sea trade. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea portrays the trade in the kingdom of Zarabothras in detail. Muzris was the most important port in the Malabar coast, which according to the Periplus, abounded with large ships of Romans, Arabs and Greeks. Bulk spices, ivory, timber, pearls and gems were exported from the Chera ports to Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Phoenicia and Arabia. The Romans brought vast amounts of gold in exchange for pepper. Society and religion equals. Most of the Chera population followed native Dravidian practices. The worship of departed heroes was a common practice in the Chera kingdom along with tree worship and other kinds of ancestor worships. The war goddess Kotive was propitiated with complex sacrifices. The Cheras probably worshipped this mother goddess. Kotive was later assimilated into the present-day form of the goddess Devi. There is no evidence of snake worship in the Chera realms during this Sangam age. Perhaps the Brahmins came to the Chera kingdom in the 3rd century BCE following the Jains and Buddhists. It was only in the 8th century CE that the Aryanization of the Chera country reached its climax. A small percentage of the population followed Jainism, Buddhism and Brahmanism. These three philosophies come from northern India to the Chera kingdom. A small Jewish and Christian population also lived in the Chera territories. Decline of early Cheras. The 4th and 5th centuries witnessed the decline and fall of the Western Roman Empire. Also in the post-Sangam era, the Chera kingdom was invaded by a number of northern powers. A Kadamba record of the 5th century at the Adakal cave in Wayanad bears testimony to the Kadamba presence in the deep south. Chera kingdom seems to have been affected by the Kalabra upheaval in the 5th and 6th centuries CE. According to Buddhist works, Kalabra ruler Achyutavit kept the Chera, Chola and Pandya rulers in his confinement and established control over a large portion of southern India. The Kalabras were defeated around the 6th century with the revival of Pallava and Pandya power. The Chalukyas of Badami must have conducted temporary conquests of Malabar. An inscription of Pulikeshani claims that he conquered the Chera ruler. A number of other inscriptions mentions their victories over the kings of Chera kingdom and Silmalai rulers. Pulikeshin too is also said to have conquered Chera, Pandya and Chola kingdoms. Soon the three rulers made an alliance and marched against the Chalukyas. But the Chalukyas defeated the confederation. Vinayaditya also subjugated the Chera king and made him pay tribute to the Chalukyas. King Vikramaditya is also said to have defeated the Cheras. King Simhavishnu and Mahendra Varman are the first Pallava rulers to claim sovereignty over the Chera kingdom. Narasimha Varman and the Pandya ruler Sendan also won victories over the Cheras. King Nandavarman II of the Pallavas allied with the Cheras in a fight against the Pandyas under Varaguna I Rashtrakutas also claimed control over Cheras. Antidurga and Govinda III is said to have defeated the Cheras. The I kingdom, south of the Chera kingdom, long functioned as an effective buffer state between a declining Chera kingdom and an emerging Pandya kingdom. Later the Pandyas conquered the As and made it a tributary state. As late as 788 CE, the Pandyas under Maranjadin or Jatilavarman Parantaka invaded the I kingdom and took the port city of Vizhinjam. However, the As did not seem to have submitted to the Pandyas, as they fought against them for almost a century. Second later Cheras, formerly known as Kulasakaras, were the nominal rulers of the Chera kingdom, a loose federation of regional chiefs, which existed between the 9th and 12th centuries CE. The rule of later Cheras was based at the city of Mahadevapura near the present-day Kodungalu, Kerala. The Perumal government was described by historian M.G.S. Narayanan as a Brahmin oligarchy with ritual sovereignty. The Chera kingdom of the Perumals was the only large state that existed in pre-modern Kerala. It was a loose federation of Aryan Brahmin settlers nominally acknowledging the sovereignty of the Cheraman Perumal and supporting him in defensive wars against the other Tamil powers. There was a Brahmin oligarchy which supported the Perumal. Most of the Perumals were saintly scholars who remained influenced by the power of Brahmin councillors. State formation was weak and state military enterprise in the Imperial Chola style was out of the question. In the Chera period the quasi-autonomous Brahmin settlements were administered by the Sabha under the supervision of the Nadavazis. Nadavazis were mostly the sons of Brahmins because of the Mayumakathayan system which promoted Sambandham, a form of Brahmin Swajra matrimonial alliance. The Chera state had only a precarious existence for 3 centuries, within which the Perumals were subordinate to the neighbouring Cholas for more than half a century. The Cholas often controlled the Chera state during the 11th century. The Cholas had conquered the Cheras but the latter continued to rule as feudatories of the Cholas for well over 100 years. It was only in the last decades of the 11th century, when the power of the Chola kingdom had weakened, that the Perumal of Mahadevapura asserted his sovereignty. But this did not last long. The reign of the last Perumal, Ramavarma Kulashkara Ramakulesakara, was disturbed by internecine quarrels which led to his abdication of throne in favour of his son Kothavarma subsequent to the disappearance of Ramakulesakara at the beginning of the 12th century. The land of Kerala was governed by dozens of Nadavazis under a feudal system which went by the Brahminical codes of morality, precedents and traditions. The Chera state had extensive trade relations with countries of the outside world. Suleiman and al-Masoudi, the Arab travellers who visited Malabar coast during the period, have testified to the high degree of economic prosperity achieved by the state from its foreign trade. Suleiman makes specific mention of the brisk trade with China. Malayalam emerged as a distinct language during the Kollam era, and Hinduism became the prominent religion of the state. Second later Cheras, according to Professor Elamkulam Kunjan Pillai. Kulashkara Varman, Rajashkara Varman, Stanley Ravi Varman, Rama Varma Kulashkara, Goda Ravi Varma, Indu Kotha Varma, Bhaskara Ravi Varman I, Bhaskara Ravi Varman II, Vira Kerala, Rajasima, Bhaskara Ravi Varman III, Ravi Rama Varma Kulashkara. According to Professor M.G.S. Narayanan, Rama Rajasakara, Stanley Ravi Kulesakara, Kota Ravi Vijayaraga, Kota Kota Kerala Kazari, Indu Kota, Bhaskara Ravi Manukula Delaya, Ravi Kota Rajasima, Rajaraja, Ravi Rama Rajaditya, Aditya Kota Rainaditya, Rama Kulesakara. Cheras of Venad. In the absence of a central power at Makattai, the divisions of the Chera kingdom soon emerged as principalities under separate chieftains. The post-Chera period witnessed a gradual decadence of the Namdari Brahmins and rise of the Nayars. The original Vilavat Chera dynasty migrated to Kollam and merged with the I kingdom. Ramavarma Kulesakara, the last Chera king of Makotayapuram, became the first ruler of the Chera I dynasty and was called Ramadhavadi. The rulers of the kingdom of Venad, based at Port Quilon in southern Kerala, traced their relations to the Perumals of Makattai. Venad ruler Kothavarma probably conquered Kottar and portions of Nanjanad from the Pandyas. Under the reign of Vira Ravi Varma the system of government became very efficient, and village assemblies functioned vigorously. Udaya Marthanda Varma's tenure was noted for the close relationship between the Venad and Pandyas. By the time of Ravi Kerala Varma, Odanad kingdom had acknowledged the authority of the Venad rulers. The next Venad ruler Padmanabha Marthanda Varma is alleged to have been killed by Vikrama Pandya in 1264 CE. The Pandyas probably led a successful military expedition to Venad and captured the capital city of Quilon between 1250 to 1300 CE. The records of Jatavarman Sundara Pandya and Maravarman Kulesakara Pandya testify the establishment of Pandya rule over Venad Cheras. The Chera I dynasty was a vassal country under the Pandyan dynasty. After the invasion of Malik Kafur in 1311 CE, the Pandyan dynasty was defeated and the last Tamil Chera I ruler Veeranudaya Marthandavarma was forced to abdicate in favour of two matriarchal princes from the Tirukkolathiri kingdom called Attingal and Kudanad. Ravi Varma Kulasakara, the death of the celebrated Pandyan king Jarasimha initiated a civil war in Venad. Ravi Varma Kulasakara, the last of the Venad kings, came to throne according to the patrilineal system, and came out successful in this battle. Ravi Varma ruled Venad as a vassal of the Pandyas till the death of King Maravarman Kulasakara. After the death of the king he became independent and even claimed the throne of the Pandyas. He later annexed large parts of southern India and raised Venad Cheras to the position of a powerful military state for a short time. The chaotic situation in the Pandya kingdom helped his conquests. The Venad ruler invaded Pandya kingdom and defeated the prince Vira Pandya. After annexing the entire Pandya state, he was crowned as emperor of South India in 1312 at Madurai. He later annexed Awadhi and Kanchi. Under Ravi Varma, Venad attained a high degree of economic prosperity. The success of Ravi Varma was short-lived and soon after his death the region became a conglomeration of warring states. Venad itself transformed into one of these states. The line of Venad kings after Ravi Varma continued through the law of matrilineal succession. Aditya Varma Zarvanganatha is known to have defeated the Muslim raiders of the south and checked the tide of Islamic advance. Under the rule of Cheranudaya Marthandavarma, the Venad gradually extended their sway over the Tirunelveli region. Ravi Varma was the ruler of Venad during the arrival of the Portuguese in India. Venad. After the fall of Pandyans, the Tamil Chera I dynasty of Venad continued to survive with their capital changed to southern Tamil Nadu at Kalakad, Cheran and Kaladakaki. Buavala Veera Marthandavarma, who had the titles Ventru Mankanda Buavala Veeran and Pulai Marthandan, was the famous ruler of this dynasty. The Chera I dynasty was mixed with two other Tamil dynasties, the Pandyas and Cholas. The country which extended between Kollam to Chirainmadivi was called Dizinganad and the court language continued to be Tamil. After the war with the Vijayanagaram in 1535 this dynasty was weakened and survived until the 17th century. After the disappearance of Jarasimha Vamsham, Kerala was dominated by matriarchal Telugu Nepalese dynasties with roots from the Kolathiri dynasty of Kanya, who then adopted the Tamil titles of Chera dynasty. The kings from the matriarchal dynasties of Attingal and Kudanad added their birth stars to their names unlike the Tamil rulers. Copperplate grants. The Vazhipali plates are a set of copperplate grants issued by Kulasakara Mahadayapram King Rajashkara Varman. The Tharasapalli plates are a set of copperplate grants issued to Marsappa the leader of the St. Thomas Christians by Ayanadakal Tharivayadakal in 849, conferring on the Pali and Periyar a large number of privileges, including the 72 royal rights. These copper plates are still present at Devalokamaramana, the headquarters of Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church. The Jewish copper plate was given to the Cochin Jews by Kulasakara King Bhaskara Ravi Varman I. This inscription conferred on a Jewish leader Alzep Rabban the rights of the Anjuvanam and 72 other proprietary rights. Mahadayapram, Mahadayapuram or Mahadayapattanam, Makattai was the capital city of Chera dynasty between 8th and 12th centuries CE. It was spread around present-day Kadangala, Thrissur district, and Kerala. The city was built around Tiruvankakulam temple and was protected by high fortresses on all sides and had extensive pathways and palaces. The temple was a center of Saivite cult in the early years of the later Chera age. The royal palace was at Godramalsvaram, now known as Cheramanparambu. The city administration was controlled by a special representative body, the Kuttam. Mahadayapuram was also called Vanchi by the later Chera rulers after their former capital. The Chera rulers shifted their capital to Mahadayapuram from Vanchi. Chera ruler Kulasakara Varman styles himself in his works as the Lord of Mahadayapuram. The famous Jewish copper plate grant was issued by Muirikode. Mahadayapuram was famous throughout South India in the 9th and 10th centuries as great center of learning and science. A well-equipped observatory functioned there under the charge of Sankaran Rayana, the Chera court astronomer. It functioned in accordance with the rules of astronomy laid down by Aryabhata. Chera rulers Thani Ravi equipped a section of the observatory with some special machines, and hence it came to be called Ravi Varma Yantra Valayam. It seems that arrangements had been made in the city for recording correct time and announcing it to the public from different centres by the tolling of bells at regular intervals of a Gatika. If this practice continued until the early 15th century. The districts of the city were Sinamagam, Kotakakam, Gotamalsvaram, Kadangala, Balakritsvaram, etc. Decline and fall. In the 11th and 12th centuries, the Cholas attacked the Chera state from the west. The Chola ruler Rajaraja made a number of successful military campaigns to the Chera kingdom during the rule of Bhaskara Ravi. The Cholas attacked the capital from the north and ravaged the city. Chola records suggests the fall of the fort at Udagai sometime before 1008 CE. Other records suggests the Chola rulers' long journey through forests for burning down Udagai. The Chola ruler Rajendra Chola probably surrounded the capital and killed the Chera king Bhaskara Ravi II in a decisive battle at Mahadalapuram in 1019 CE. The number of Chera generals and chieftains were also killed in the battle. During the long war during the rule of Ramavarma, Mahadalapuram and neighbouring places were completely burnt down and destroyed by the Cholas. The prolonged wars had weakened the Chera power considerably, and some chiefs took advantage of the chaotic opportunity and asserted their independence. The royal palace at Gotamalsvaram was probably also burnt down, and the king is known to have stayed at multiple locations such as Ndayatoli in Kadangala and at Kollam. Later the Ramavarma shifted his capital to Kollam. Kerala Parvi mentions a Tulu invader from Alupa dynasty, brother of Kavi Simara Khan of Dulunad, who assumed the title of Chairman Perumal and established a dynasty at Vallarpattanam near Kanna. He attacked Kerala with a large army derived from Arikatra Nepal. After the end of the Chera state, Mahadalapuram fell into the hands of the kingdom of Perumpadapu. Traditionally, the rulers of Perumpadapu are regarded as descendants of the Chera rulers in the maternal line. In 1225 CE, the Perumpadapu ruler Viraragava issued the famous Syrian Christian copperplate grant to Aravi Kortanan from Mahadalapuram. Mahadalapuram served as the capital of Kingdom of Perumpadapu between the 13th and 15th centuries. See also, History of Tamil Nadu, History of Kerala, Cheraman Perumal, Mukundamala, Kadangala, Economy of Ancient Tamil Country, Industry in Ancient Tamil Country, Sangam period, Tamilakam, Indo-Roman relations, Indo-Roman trade relations, Indian maritime history. References. External links, Mahavidwanaragava Iyengar, Vanjamanagar University of Madras, Inscriptions of India Euro complete listing of historical inscriptions from Indian temples and monuments, Tamil coins, Anagasami, a magnum opus on Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. A Euro book review, Mahavamsa, a whole inscription of Pulikeshin II, Ashoka's rock edicts.